What's going on? What's going on? We got another night on the re-entry journey. You know what time it is. I'm your host, Kardell Sims, and tonight I have another guest who's going to share her story with us. When I was talking to her not too long ago, she's just like me. You know, sometimes we didn't get it right on the first try. But yeah, our guest tonight is Miss Tiffany Gibson. Go ahead and let them know about you. Tell them who you are.
Hey, my name is Tiffany Gibson, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Reentry is my passion. Like I was telling Kardell, went to prison 3 different times. Didn't get it right the first 2 times. I guess I didn't hit that rock bottom. So that last time, I basically lost every single thing. I hit that rock bottom, lost a lot of friends, realized who was in my corner, who wasn't. When I got out, actually, before I came home, I got my mind made up that it was, everything had to change. I had to give up that old lifestyle, which I was raised in the hustling, lifestyle, hustling game, been hustling ever since I was a child. That's the type of lifestyle that we lived. And so I knew that in order for me to change, I had to remove myself from that equation. It wasn't easy at all. When I came home, like I said, I basically came home to literally nothing. But before I went in, I was that person that had the nice houses, the luxury cars, the money, money in the bank, jewelry, and all that. And when I came home, I didn't have nothing. I didn't even have, bra and panty set. But I made up my mind to where I didn't care what I went through. I wasn't going to go back into that same lifestyle. And so, I just told, I just had a conversation with God and just told him, look, just help me pull through this situation. And, I made a vow to God, just let him know like, hey, just, it's over with for me. Just guide me, basically.
So you was in the streets at an early age hustling.
Oh yeah.
Catch it. What was it? Would it be a drug case on your first offense?
Nah, it wasn't a drug case. I was basically, I hate the term booster, but that's based on what I was doing. I was your private fashion consultant,
Right.
But that was my lifestyle, and of course the scamming game and stuff like that.
Okay, so you get arrested, you go to prison. Your first experience to prison, what was it like the first time that you walked through the prison doors?
It was, the first time I went to prison, it was more of a shock, because when I walked, I'm non-violent crime, paroleable and whatever. And so I'm in it was back in 96. So I'm in prison with people that I seen on the news for murder charges. And I'm like, oh, like what in the world going on? But it became exciting. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in here with this person, with that person, then, of course, I'm a cool person all around. So, I still got friends from back then, out on the streets. So it didn't rehabilitate me at all. Basically, you got the game that I was in, and then that's how I was introduced to scamming. Then of course, you got the drug dealers. Then you got the other type of hustlers. So all of us didn't do anything but just sit around and talk about how to make more money. So when I came home, the very next day I was back out there hustling.
Right. Didn't take no time. It was like you went the first time you went. It's like
I gotta get it. I had a son.
You went wrong, and you know what I'm saying. And
exactly, it wasn't no habilitation.
Criminal. No. Yeah. Right.
So some of the officers was my customers, when I came home.
Wow.
So,
right.
So, I had some parole officers, buying stuff from me. So, it was like, it is what it is, so they wasn't part of the game too. And exactly. So, so I never changed my environment. I just went right back to it. And, like I said, I had a son out there. I still had my car. So I still had my car note. I had my house, things like that. So I had to get right back to it. But when I came home, I always maintained a good job. So I came home, I didn't get rearrested for like 8 years. So I was working for the government. I was the marriage license clerk. Anybody got married in the state of Georgia, I did their marriage license.
Oh, wow.
So, but I also was doing my little hustling on the side, or whatever. So, that's just how it was. And then when I got caught up again, the first time I did 14 months. The second time, and that was my first conviction. Like I'd never been in trouble before. Yeah.
Did that feel like a little slap on the wrist?
No, it felt like,
Hold on, 14 months for real?
yeah, like everybody else get probation for what I
Right.
get. And, I guess because of the people who I caught my charge with, they had a record and I didn't. And I was also in college at the time too. So, and I went in front of like the worst judge it is in Clayton County. And he just basically,
What
he
college?
just,
You went to Clayton State?
I graduated from Georgia. I graduated from Georgia State.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
ready to go to Clayton State.
Now, Clayton State wasn't really nothing back then. A lot of Clayton State was more like Atlanta Air Tech back then. Well, Atlanta Air Tech is, it's a great school. Don't get me wrong. I got a degree from Atlanta Air Tech too. But it wasn't the type of Clayton State college that it is now.
Right.
So, yeah.
I went to West Georgia. I played basketball in West Georgia.
Okay.
So we used to play Clayton State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Clayton State blew up. But, yeah.
So you were in the prison the second time.
Yeah, the second time was harder because when I went in, it was a lot going on personally in my life. My brother, I have two brothers. My oldest brother caught a murder charge. So I'm the one that I wouldn't necessarily took care of my family, but I helped out my family. And so when my brother caught his murder charge, I'm up here trying to, at first I stopped hustling. So I went back into the game. Because, of course, we had lawyer fees. We had everything going on for him. And so I went back in, got caught up. Lost my stepfather while I was in there. Right when I came home, a couple months later, lost my grandmother. It was just a lot going on personal. And so I kept saying, I can't go back. But then, I'm still around the same environment. So it was nothing to go, right back into it.
Exactly.
So that was the second time. That was in 2004. Then come 2008, that was the worst day of my life because I kept getting caught up in the same county, which is Gwinnett. It was one of the worst counties to get caught up in, especially like for someone that's from Atlanta. Because the judge, and back then I could look at, cameras and stuff like this. I could tell where certain things is going on. And the charge that they charged me with, I really didn't do it, but by my background, the judge basically said, well, due to your background, you had knowledge of it, whatever. And they basically, I wouldn't say they railroaded me, but how the way they did it to where I was already on probation in Gwinnett. So instead of them having me take care of my case first, they did the probation hearing.
Oh, yeah.
And so they had the people from the store and they had the videotape, and the man from the store kept saying, hey, I seen her at this time, pick up this, whatever. And so the lawyers I always had paid attorneys, and the lawyer that I had, he was like, well, let's show the tape. Because I knew he didn't have me on the tape. So when they showed the tape, I wasn't nowhere on the tape, which I knew from the get-go. And instead of the judge saying we'll put her back on probation, like my probation officer said, he was like, well, due to Ms. Gibson's background, I believe she had knowledge. So he revoked all my probation, which was like 4 years left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then, but then on top of that, I was already in prison, getting ready to be released from prison on another charge. So I had to go back through diagnostic all again. Right before I was getting ready to get out, he resentenced me for that charge that I, caught while I was on probation. Sentenced me to 6 years for that. So I had to go, So I had to go back through diagnostic and all that. And so back then, when I got locked up, I had a 1-year-old. She was getting ready to turn 2. So when I came home, she was 5. So I had to get to know her. But before I came home, you have to make up your mind before you get released. You have to put it in your mind. Like, I don't care when I come home. I don't care what goes on around me, what I don't have, what I'm used to having. It's over with. It's done.
Yeah. I need you to repeat that.
Yeah.
I need you to repeat that.
Yeah, before you got to make up your mind before you get released that I don't care what I'm used to, the type of lifestyle I'm used to. It's over with. It's done. If I can't give the right way, I don't need it. That's basically what I was saying, And it was hard because like I said, I was used to having cars and having this and having that, and I started catching model, which I had never caught model before. And I started, looking for jobs where you couldn't even catch me, look for jobs. Like I was turned down at McDonald's because I was overly qualified. But for the jobs that I was qualified for, they pulled up my background and they wouldn't hire me no more, because you have to look at it. It was during the, now you had the 9/11.
Oh yeah.
So they're doing more stricter background checks. Back in the day, if you had a nonviolent charge, that eased you on through the door. But now it wasn't like that. And so I couldn't even find a job, I know, for a good 5 months. And
And,
so,
and, and what was that feeling like? You're trying to find a job, you just can't
yeah,
find a job.
okay.
Told yourself, hey, I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm not going back this way. But at the same time, I wasn't expecting this right here. What was that like?
exactly. It was, you know what? It was awakening, because if I wouldn't have had my mama and my family, ain't no telling, what I would have done. But it was awakening, but it's also made me build my faith up a whole lot stronger. Because I knew that, okay, this is part of the test. I know I'm gonna get through it. Because I knew, like, it's nothing for me to go back out there and make, $10,000-$12,000. That's nothing, But I kept saying, I can't do it. I can't do it, because I'm learning my child. My parents my mom had to tell me about my child, and I wasn't
Right.
used to that. And so, I was just like, I got to get something. Then I started speaking to my parole officer, like, if you have any jobs, I don't care what it is, I just need to work. Of course, you got to pay your parole fees.
Oh, y'all got parole fees
Yeah, we
too?
got parole fees.
Yeah,
So
we got them
basically,
too.
they told me off the rip, like, I don't care how you get your money, you got to pay me, or you going back. So I kept saying, well, what can I do? And then that's when I was like, well, you know what? My sister was in school, and she was like, well, won't you, go ahead on and get that financial aid? So that's
Right.
when I enrolled at Atlanta Tech. My second
Okay.
time around, I enrolled at Atlanta Tech. And when I got that first check, I was like, you thought I was in Candyland or
It
whatever.
was on the cracking then.
Yeah. But but once I started loving, loving, school again, whatever. And so I ended up graduated from Atlanta Tech with an associate's degree. And I kept saying, you know what, I'm not done with school. But while I was at Atlanta Tech, I ended up getting a job working for a temporary agency. Started doing banquets. And so once I did the banquets, I got introduced to other people, because they look at your work ethic. Like, I got great work ethics. I just had a background that was crazy. And so I started moving up, and when I kept saying, I'm not finished with school. So that's when I enrolled at Georgia State. But Georgia State was basically like, we don't want you here. You're a convicted, 4-time convicted felon. There's nothing that we can do with you, And so, I wrote them a long letter, like, look, I can't keep on toting this, this letter on my back. When are you going to give me a chance? If I'm out here doing what I'm supposed to do, but yet you keep turning me away, then what do you want me to do? Go back to that old lifestyle? So they gave me a chance. I enrolled in a nursing program at Georgia State. But once I talked to my advisor, of course, it's strict on that. She told me, well, you won't be able to get your nursing license because you're a convicted felon. Yeah.
Man.
And yeah, so I had to, in the middle of my degree, I had to change. And so I was talking to another advisor. They was like, hey, we got this brand new program called social entrepreneurship. They based it on nonprofits, in the inner city. So I said, oh, that sounds like something I do. So I ended up graduating from Georgia State. But in the middle of going to Georgia State, they had a job fair. And Apple was there. So I was like, shoot, let me go ahead and just write my name on this list, for Apple, whatever. Let me see what they do, whatever.
See what can happen.
Yeah, I didn't receive a call, but like 3 months later, I received a call. Hey, this is what's from Apple. Are you ready to do an interview? Are you still considering Apple? I'm like, man, you lost your mind, because mind you, I'm still doing banquets.
Yeah.
And banquets is not a full-time job. You have, whenever there is an event, that's when you work. So you're still kind of starving, But at this time, I was so focused on, being good, focus on my dream the right way, to where things started falling in my lap. And I knew it wasn't nothing but God. And so Apple called me. We did the interview. Interview was great. Then I got a call back from Human Resources. They were like, hey, we did a background check. I don't know about, I don't know about you coming to work for us, whatever. But they would say, well, we'll check and see, if if we do, choose to accept you, we'll notify you. I was like, okay. So on June the 30th, they said I started the day after 4th of July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I started, I'm still with Apple 5 years later. And it's like, every time I look around, they're giving me like a higher position, more money. And I knew that it went, at the end of the day, I had to once I remove myself from certain situations, blessings just start flowing in. Like the cars that I drove hustling, I got now. You know, I don't
Right.
have to. I don't have to worry about losing anything. Put it like that, because I got it the right way. And like back then, I always wanted, I said, well, sure, let me purchase this house, let me do this. But I always had that over my head that if I go to prison, I lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now, on the day before Thanksgiving, I closed on my house.
Oh, all right.
so you,
Congratulations.
so everything just started working out, and I was like, and it was plenty of times I ain't have no money, and I go to the mailbox, a check sent in the mailbox,
Mm.
and I was like, where did this money come from? Like if you do those surveys, or I found a check from when I was working with the state government for, I guess I had retirement money, and
Right.
so they sent that check to me. It was just like when I was at my lowest, things just started happening. Like, I was like, Lord, I don't even, plenty of times I went to school, I didn't even have money for lunch. I would like Georgia State. Oh, this tip me up. Like Georgia State will have where you get free lunch if you sit in on a class during your lunch break. They'll
Mm-hmm.
give you like pizza, soda, whatever. So it's plenty of time I went, sat in just so I could eat because I didn't have any money. But I had that pride too. And I knew I had
Right.
to let that pride go. But, it's plenty of times I did that. Plenty, like I said, I used to catch the bus, walk home in the rain. It didn't matter because my mind was so focused. That's why I said you got to get your mind right before you
That's what I
start.
was going to ask you next.
Yeah.
What was it about, like being in there? Because I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
like when I first got out, I had to ride the bus. There's a lot of things I had to
Yeah.
do to follow my pride.
Mm-hmm.
What was that thing that you had or that you seen that you just knew I'm not going back this way? What was what was that inside of you that just had you persevere through that? Because a lot of people give up like that at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going back to how I get it. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep doing this. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
even riding no bus. Sitting here home, I
Mm.
ain't got no money. This ain't gonna work. Most people,
Oh
they
yeah.
they going back.
Don't think it didn't cross my mind plenty of
Right,
time. But I look at it like I'm getting older. My
right.
mama getting older. The worst thing you could do is be sitting in prison. They tell you somebody died.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying, I can't go back. And then like I said, I had to get to learn my child. Like this is my child. I had to get to learn her. And then while I was in there, my oldest son graduated from high school, but he didn't have anyone to like do his college application, push him to go to college. He didn't have no one. So basically he turned toward the streets, but he graduated. And I talked to him. He was like, I graduated because I knew that's what you wanted me to do. But when I came home, I had enrolled him at Atlanta Metropolitan College, and I was at Atlanta Tech. And he basically told me I was too late. You too late. Basically, the street on already got him. And
Right.
and when I sat back and I thought about everything, I was like, I can't risk myself. And then like it was so much happened while I was in prison to where I knew that I, I couldn't go back.
I like when you just said it. You can't risk yourself. Explain that to people because I know what that means. Like
Uh-huh.
I can't risk myself no matter what's going on or who is involved. I can't risk myself. Like my freedom and myself is
Mhm.
the most important thing right now. It just explain that to those that's tuning in about that. You can't risk yourself.
Because at the end of the day, it's only you. And when you're in prison, it's just you. Of course, you can pick up that phone and call home or whatever. Sometimes you can't even call home. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's only you and them prison walls. And
Right.
everybody else benefiting on the outside when you out there. But when you in there, you by yourself. And and I had people like to come up to me, oh girl, I know you back out or whatever. And I just let them talk or whatever. But I knew at the end of the day, it was over with for me. It was done. Like you have to get to that point of where you're sick and tired. And I treated my hustling life as if I was on drugs. You have to take yourself from that environment. If
Right.
you it only like I look at myself, I got one foot in and one foot out. If I just cross over just a little bit, I'm all the way back in. There's no stopping. So I don't even put myself in that situation to put me back in there. Because I knew at the end of the day, it's gonna come crashing. You can't avoid it. So I was like, I give up. it's that point to where I give up. You know how some people say they finally see the light. I finally seen that it was over with for me. That's not the type of lifestyle that I don't want that anymore.
Right. And you said you're starting to get older. Like that's how I was.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I done did my 20s locked up, I did my 30s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in prison on 40, 50, 60. I done seen
Exactly. And then like I said, like the prison don't change. You got all these young kids coming in now, and they thinking it's a game. Coming in with life sentences, 18, 19. Sitting around here playing around. In the prison, and they got gangs in prison now. It's just too much going on, and I knew at the end of the day, this is not my life.
Right.
I knew that I was destined for something else, but I knew that I kept saying, once I get up on my feet. Once I get to the point where I can help someone else, that's when I was going to start my own nonprofit, because I want to go back into the prison. But now I'm going back into the prison on the other side of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to catch the people that's 6 months from coming home. Right. So I could get them set up so they won't have to struggle the way that I did. And then it's like, it's so many programs, and I didn't even know half of this stuff existed for people that's getting out of prison. But it does. But it's like, I don't know if people don't want to tell you about it because they think you're going to, eat off your plate or whatever. Right. But it's like, I didn't even know, you get out of prison, they can help you, find an apartment. I didn't know they help you. Of course, I knew that they can help you find a job, but it's all about, you got to be in with your parole officer real, real good in order for them, to look out for you. Yeah. Or you got to be in with this person, for them to look out for you. And it shouldn't be like that, because it's plenty of people that I met in there. And that's why I say I thank my family, because there's plenty of people I met in there that didn't have nobody. Grew up in like the foster care system where they really didn't have nobody. I mean, it's just them against the world or whatever. And when they get out, they come right back. And it's like, because they have nothing else to look forward to. So that's why I'm getting, hey, come out. Guess what? I already got a job lined up for you. You need a place to stay. Hey, I got a room over here for you. I'm watching you for a whole year after you get released to make sure. I even got, mental health counselors on my team. I got a lot of people set up to where it's on you if you fail, because the resources is there.
Exactly. Yeah, and I always say because you have to. It goes back into making that mental shift, that mindset shift.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta really tell yourself like this is it, because if you don't get to that point and you get out, no matter what kind of resources that you get, that it's not going to really last long, or you're not going to maintain it because you're not ready to really change, or you haven't made that change. You haven't told yourself that this is enough. Like, I'm tired. I can't do it no more. Yeah. So you was talking about your children. Explain what that transition was like, getting back into your children's lives.
Well, I have a 27-year-old, 21, and a 13-year-old. So my 27-year-old, he was exposed to this lifestyle. So he basically knew, he knows the ins and out of it. My 21-year-old, he knows about it, but he really didn't experience it like my oldest one did. So when I came home, my oldest one had already graduated high school, and my middle one was in middle school, graduated from middle school.
Right.
So, I got a chance to, experience that whole high school lifestyle with him. And I noticed that, with my middle son, like his graduation, I went all out, I had the party, big party and everything. And I sat right there and I looked at my oldest son, and I seen, something on him, and he was like, dawg, you did all this. You weren't even home for me. Did nobody do nothing for me,
Right.
And so, so when I looked at that, I was like, you're right. And only thing I can say is sorry, because I wasn't here, And then like with my baby, like I say, she the girl, and I literally, people telling me, oh no, she loved this, she loved crab legs. She loved this right here. And for someone to actually have to tell you that about your own child, that killed me. I knew that, if I leave her, it's over with. So that's why I knew I had to, no, I ain't going nowhere. Mama gonna be here. I don't care if I'm in the next room working, but I'm gonna be here.
Exactly. So you get out of prison, you got working for Apple.
Yeah.
One of the jobs that you think that you never get because of your background. You end up getting it. I understand that because I work with FedEx, and when I
Mm-hmm.
FedEx, I didn't think I'm just filling out applications just to find a job.
Yeah.
You go in there, I'm filling out for everything. Maybe something's gonna happen. And
Mm-hmm.
FedEx, I'm like, ain't no way I'm on federal probation. Ain't no way I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get no job in no
Mm-hmm.
FedEx. Man, they called me back, had me go take my drug test and do a physical, and come gave me a start date. I was like, what?
Exactly, because I was still on parole when I started with Apple, but I was
Yeah,
on non-reporting parole, but I was still on parole,
right, and
But
that's crazy.
yeah,
If you think the jobs you in your mind, like I know I'm not going to get this job. I'm just filling it out anyway, just to be filling it out.
exactly,
Hopefully,
exactly.
someone might say, and it's crazy how them jobs come through. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't understand. Like it sometimes it do depend on how you carrying yourself after you get out of prison,
Mm-hmm.
even though you might have that felony or on probation and parole. Like when you do an interview with someone and you can explain to them, what you've been through and then how you overcome and how you made a change. A lot of times that might be that one thing that
Yeah.
they want to hire you, and they want to really get around the background. They get around the background if they want to. It's their company.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really surprising because I think like you like the 34th person that was on here that got a job that what I'm saying, we was like, there's no way we're gonna be able to get that job.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
them jobs come through. So that's what's up. So you get into the prison reform when you get into prisons and everything. So what's the overall plan um, for you and what you're going to do and take off with the nonprofit?
So my overall plan is, like I said, I'm trying to have a class, like a reentry class, which they already have, but it's really a joke. Like you helping people do resume. I didn't need you to help me write my resume. I know
Right,
how to do a resume. They think everyone is illiterate in old classes or whatever. So I'm basically trying to set up a class 6 months. I really want to work with a lot of lifers or the ones that have been in there over 10 years. Because basically you coming home to a whole another world. Like
right, yeah,
technology, everything is crazy. So that's my main thing. Get those classes, get all their background information, counsel them, keep working with them because you could tell if they're gonna go back or not by that conversation. You know, It- a lot of times, we speak a good game, but
you
yeah, but you could pick them.
the person alone love when you watch them a little bit, you don't know. Like,
Exactly.
he
Yeah,
gonna have to be right back.
yeah, exactly. So my thing is, and I'm looking for office space right now. I'm really focusing on Fulton County, DeKalb County, the surrounding counties of Fulton County.
Yeah,
So basically, I'm looking for an office and what I'm going to do. But like I said, 6 months before you get released, I already work with different type of corporations to where they will allow a certain amount of convicted felons to work with them.
okay,
Um, I already got, like I said, mental health counselor on board. I'm already trying to work with someone with transitional housing. Hopefully we could partner up, get like apartment building or whatever, try to get them set up. And so everything is basically, I'm looking at a 6 month plan. You don't have a place to stay. Hey, we got this transitional housing over here for 6 months. You're going to be working here. I'm working with your parole officer or your probation officer, whichever one you have. So we're working hand in hand. That's basically to cover me and cover you at the same time.
right.
Um, basically, you of course you need counseling because you have post prison syndrome.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
first thing that you really should be
yeah,
addressing is your mental
hmm
health.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And
You
so
know,
I'm working with them. Basically, I'm trying to get everything lined up to where not everyone's plan is going to be the same because not everyone is the same. Like you said, some people going to need more counseling, so we're going to focus on counseling. Probably get you working part time while we get your mental together. But I'm going to be basically you're going to be with me for a year.
okay,
So I'm going to monitor you for a year. After that year, basically, we if you need counsel, we still got our counselors on board. But it's like now I got to like an overflow. Like okay, you going out that door, and the next person coming in.
okay,
And so
right,
basically, what trying to embed in everybody that this program is going to be the blueprint. If you mess up, you messing up everything. Like that's just like if somebody get out on parole. say for murder or get out on paroles for a serious charge, and you go out there and commit another murder, you keeping the other man from getting out on parole.
Yeah, you are.
Because that's looking at it like, why should we let you out? We just let this man out, or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what happened to the I'm from Missouri. That's what happened to the furloughs in Missouri. So you used to get the furloughs in the Missouri state prisons, you know what I'm saying? But one dude got out and he killed a couple on his furlough, and that killed the furloughs.
Yeah. So that's based I'm embedded into that. But it's like for some reason with Georgia Department of Correction, when I gave them, my proposals, my plan or whatever, like I told them everything, money's not coming out of your pocket. Let me work with them. I was going to do everything for free, whatever. Yeah. And they basically told me, well, you haven't been out parole for 3 years. So, we can't accept your program. After you be out, papers for 3 years, then, you come back in and then we'll see what we can do. And I'm like, my last conviction was over 10 years ago,
Right.
But Georgia Department of Correction don't want to work with me. But the federal, the federal is like, come on, we'll work with you, shoot, we could set you up, you need an office space or whatever. And I'm like, to me, it's so many programs out there for federal. It's the State Department of Correction that has the worst problems,
Yeah.
But it's like, but they don't want to work with you for some reason. So, yeah. So
I've been trying to build me a partnership with the Missouri Department of Correction. They ain't got back with me yet.
Yeah, it's like they ain't trying to. They was like,
They ain't got back with me yet. I don't know what's going on.
I'm trying to tell you, it's like that's just like with and I'm like, I got this awesome plan. Let me, I promise you I'll make a chance, because I've been there. It's like, you can't tell me about a place that I already been to. So I know, when I talk to you, I know what you're going through because I've been there,
Right.
But it's like, it's Georgia Department of Corrections, like, no, ma'am.
Yeah, they got their certain programs that they're letting in there. So, but eventually the door is open, so sometimes it takes to get the right person to come through and back you on what you're doing and seeing if you care about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so one question is, let's say I'm a person that's about to get out of prison. I'm getting out in about 3 days. What are the 3 things that I'm gonna need? And outside of 3 things I need, what advice would you give me?
Okay. 3 things you're going. Well, the first advice I'm gonna give you is your mind got to be made up to where you don't want to come back. It's over with. You have to have that mindset made up before you even reach out those doors. Because I've seen plenty of people, they get released and the next day they in county jail, because they were going back to the same lifestyle. So, first we're going to focus on your mind. When you get released, the main thing you're going to need resources. You're going to need housing. If you don't have housing, you're going to need a job because you got to have money to survive. You're going to need transportation, whether it be a bus pass or, or like now Lyft, what is the other one called? I forgot the other one, but Uber, like Lyft and Uber, we could give different nonprofit organizations, they have an account with Uber and Lyft to where we could get you to and from, wherever you need to go. But those are the main things that you need. And you need a support system. You got to have somebody in your corner, whether it be someone that you know or someone that you don't know, but you have to have a support system. You cannot make it without a support system.
Right. And so those of you that tuned in, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them in the comment section and we can get them up and get them answered. So just go ahead and type the questions in the comment sections if you have any questions. Why is it important for you to work back into the prison field, but on the other side, to be of some service?
Because I know how it feels. I know how it is. I experienced that lifestyle. And for me coming from that lifestyle, I can be more realer with you. I can let you know, what's going on with that. Like I said, plenty of people want to help, but if you've never been in the shoes, you can only help so much. Like, plenty of people say, oh, you could easily get a job. Oh, really? Well, why haven't I?
Right.
And you can't find housing.
Yeah,
convicted felons. It's not that easy. And everyone think, oh, since you've been in prison, everything will come easy to you. But you got to understand, you walk around with that scarlet letter for the rest of your life. Like it's never going to give up. Like that convicted felon is going to be stamped on you.
Exactly.
And it's and it's no matter how good you do, everybody gonna remember. They go when they see that application or whatever. Oh, convicted felon, denied. Whatever. So it's up to you to prove. Basically, you're proving it to yourself. You ain't proving it to nobody else. You're proving it to yourself.
Right. I mean, and some states got banned the box, but I don't think banned the box really helps because at the end of the day,
they still do that background.
They do that background check.
Yeah.
That background check.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing about even with the jobs though, because when in prison they give you this list, say these are felon-friendly companies,
and half of them not.
No, half of them they're felon-friendly, but it got to be after so many years. Like, you didn't pass the background check because the last time you caught a felony was within 7 years,
mm-hmm.
or within 5 years. And so, they did half of them not felon friendly, and then the other half is a scheme behind it. Like, but you got to be off.
They make it so hard for you.
Yeah. Oh, you just got out of prison 2 years ago? Oh man, if you would have got out 5 years ago, we could have hired you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like when I was getting out, like they tell me, oh, go to the Department of Labor, they got the bonding program. Okay, so you just want me to take this piece of paper up here to a company and say, I'm insured for $1,200? Like they gonna hire me for real? Then you take that paper up there, they looking at you like, oh no, ma'am, we can't have you, whatever. And it's just
them things, them bonding things only good for temp services.
Yeah.
That's all they good.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So any last words, anything you want to tell the viewers before we sign off?
Anyone can be a support system. If you know someone that's in prison, getting ready to get out, be their support system. Don't judge. That's the worst thing you can do is judge them. Plenty of people judge me, even still judge me to this day. But especially like with people who've been, who just got out, whatever. You got to have that mind made up before them gates open up, or you're gonna be right back.
There's somebody out there right now that got their mind made up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're going through something, right? They're going through something. Something with family or something, whatever, whatnot. They just going through something. They ain't went back, but they having a hard time. What would you tell them?
Remove yourself from certain situations. Because I've seen plenty of men that get released and get in relationships or whatever. And the same thing with women that have a significant other. They know they on parole, probation, or whatever. First thing they do is call the police. Of course, they're gonna be at that court date begging you to come back home, but it's over with, So sometimes you can't just jump into that relationship. You got to get yourself right. Get your own place, because the worst thing you could do is be in somebody else's household.
There you have it. Now, y'all know my favorite saying. Now that's game. But there you have it. That's game. I appreciate you for coming on, being a guest, Tiffany. Really enjoyed having you on, sharing your story, sharing your knowledge, and I really want to see the work that you're doing, that you're going to continue to grow. I like to see it grow and prosper. So, then maybe a year from now we can come back on there and say, yeah, man, when I was on there last year, I was talking about getting there.
Oh yeah,
I got that, and everything's going, just sharing your story again, and showing how I prospered. We hold this platform for people that's getting out of prison. Our family members that got people in prison, so I try to get everybody on, share their stories, let them see where their obstacle was, how they got around it. What was the key for them being successful, making a successful transition, completing their probation and parole? Because at the end of the day, it's bigger than just completing your probation and your parole. It's never going back to prison again.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we want to do in the work that we're doing with the reentry and stuff. I think that's our main goal, not just to get out and get off probation for now, but change that mentality to where you never have to go to prison again. Let's put this behind you. So I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks again. Feel free to share your information and knowledge in our reentry support group. Some of the things that you say felons can have and got access to. Feel free to share that in the group on a post or anything. Thanks a lot for coming on, and I wish you the best from here on out.
Thank you so much. And look out for Surviving Freedom. That's the name of my nonprofit. 'Cause we just
All
survive for
right.
freedom every day.
All right. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
You
Thank
have a
you
good
so
night.
much. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay.